How Jonah stopped daydreaming and started doing. Welcome back to AM Soul Stories. Today's story shows how hard work and persistence, plus a little emotional diligence, turn big dreams into real results. Along the way, we'll learn new vocabulary and practice using it in simple, clear sentences. Stay with us till the end. In the small Midwestern city of Springfield, Ohio, a 19-year-old named Jonah Brooks sat under a maple tree by the town square, staring at nothing in particular. On paper, Jonah had everything going for him. Healthy, tall, strong. In real life, though, he drifted. He avoided work, skipped odd jobs, and lived mostly on other people's kindness. He had aspirations of being rich someday, but someday never came any closer, because Jonah never moved. That Saturday, the square buzzed with a bountiful farmer's market. Local growers filled long tables with corn, pumpkins, and bright red apples. Near the gazebo, the owner of Riverbend Orchards announced a thank you giveaway. 1 free basket of apples for anyone who needed help this season. "It's been a good harvest," she said. "Let's distribute some sweetness." Jonah heard free and joined the line. Soon, he cradled a heavy, sweet-smelling basket. He hurried home to the small duplex he shared with his dad, a house painter who'd already left for an early job. The kitchen held a beat-up saucepan, sugar, and a jar of cinnamon leftovers from his late mother's apple pie days. "Perfect," Jonah murmured. He washed the apples, sliced them, and set the pot to simmer on the stove. Sugar melted. Cinnamon bloomed. Steam fogged the window. He made toast and poured the apple mixture over it. Breakfast was warm, cheap, and absolutely delicious. He set the rest of the apples beside his bed and, instead of helping his dad or looking for work, flopped down to imagine a life that would finally be easy. His thoughts spun fast. "Tomorrow I'll cook the rest, sell apple cups at the market, and make quick cash," he told himself. "With that money, I'll buy more fruit at a discount, turn it into jars of apple butter, and open a pop-up stand. Then I'll expand to pies, then a food truck, then a full bakery on Main Street. After that, I'll sell franchises. People will line up around the block. I'll buy a truck, then a house, then—" His fantasy expanded like a balloon. In it, he married a beautiful woman, had a son, and swore if that kid ever got lazy, he'd teach him a lesson. Jonah grabbed a broomstick from beside the dresser and swung it at the air, acting out a lecture no one had asked for. The broomstick clipped the wicker handle of the apple basket. The basket flipped. Apples tumbled, bouncing across the hardwood. One smacked the side of the hot pot on the bedside table. Yes, Jonah had moved the pot to his room, tipping it. Thick, sticky apple syrup splashed onto his blanket and oozed toward the rug. Jonah frozen. Then reality landed like a brick. He spent the next hour mopping syrup, scrubbing the floor, and trying not to cry. When he finally sat down, his heart felt miserable, not because he'd lost a little food, but because the scene revealed something ugly. He loved talking about dreams more than working for them. The next morning, he wandered the neighborhood hoping for another freebie. Nothing came. No apples, no hot meals, no extra cash. Life was still hard, and deep down, Jonah knew why. At the corner of High and Limestone, he paused at the bronze statue of a mill worker. Steel lunch pail, sleeves rolled. Someone had left a handwritten sign at its base. "Actions must match aspirations." Below it, a second line read, "Start small. Start now." Jonah took out his phone and opened the Notes app. He typed Emotional Diligence 7 Rules. He didn't know exactly what that meant yet, But he knew how it felt showing up even when you don't feel like it. Caring enough to keep going. He read the list twice. Then he put it to work. At home, he washed every dish. He texted his dad. "How many houses this week? Put me on your crew." He posted in the neighborhood group Odd Jobs Yard Cleanup, moving boxes, 15 an hour. He set aside fantasy and chose persistence, small, steady effort. Monday at 6:00 a.m., he made coffee, tied his shoes, and did one hard thing. He carried the heavy ladder from the shed to the truck without complaining. At the job site, he asked to learn taping and mudding. The first hour was awful. He breathed and counted to 20 plus, then upwing. By noon, his lines were straighter. That afternoon, he helped the elderly neighbor next door haul brush to the curb at no charge. She pressed 220s into his hand anyway, eyes bright with generosity. "For showing up," she said. Jonah reduced friction. He laid out clothes at night, prepped a thermos, and packed a sandwich. He closed loops. If he started a room, he finished it. He kept telling himself, actions must match aspirations. A week later, he returned to the farmer's market, not to stand in the free food line, but to ask the Riverbend owner for the bruised apples most vendors throw away. She eyed his paint-spattered jeans and straight posture. "Are you working?" she asked. "Yes, ma'am," he said. "Every day." She handed him a crate. "Make something of it." That night, Jonah didn't daydream a franchise. He made 2 pans of rustic apple crisp. He sold one to his dad's crew the next day and gave the other to the elderly neighbor as thanks. No big promises, just closed loops and quiet wins. And the dreams? They didn't die. They matured. He still wanted a food truck. But now he wanted something bigger first, to be a person whose actions match aspirations. The takeaway, friends, many of us hold huge hopes while doing very little. Jonah's turning point wasn't luck. It was emotional diligence training his heart to care enough to keep going, especially when motivation faded. If you want success, pair your aspirations with habits that make quitting harder than continuing. Start small. Start now. Common mistakes people often make. 1. Dreaming without acting. People often fantasize about success instead of taking the small steps that actually create it. 2. Waiting for perfect conditions. Many wait for motivation, money, or the right moment, when progress only happens by starting now. 3. Relying on luck or free stuff. Expecting handouts or easy paths keeps people stuck. Hard work creates far more opportunities than luck ever will. 4. Giving up after one failure. A small setback like Jonah spilling the apples leads many to quit completely instead of learning and trying again. 5. Mistaking busy thoughts for real productivity slanting can feel like progress, but without action, it's just a mental escape. 6. Avoiding hard tasks. Skipping the uncomfortable jobs prevents growth. The tasks you avoid are often the ones that build character. 7. Putting dreams before discipline. People imagine the end results of business, success, and wealth without first building the habits needed to maintain it.